you getting on? Welcome to Comic Kong. Nowadays, pretty much everybody knows the big bad of the Marvel comics is Thanos. But a lot of people don't know who the biggest villain is in DC Comics, which is the Anti-Monitor. He was the main villain of Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is the biggest and most famous crossover story, not just in DC Comics, but of all comics. And since the Arrowverse, the Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, will be adapting the story with the Anti-Monitor as the main antagonist, I decided it was a perfect time to look at DC's biggest villain. Now you might think, well, Thanos destroyed half the universe. I mean, if you read the comics, you know he's actually destroyed the universe once or twice. How can you top that? Because the Anti-Monitor has destroyed all of the universes. In fact, he has the Guinness World Record for killing the most people of any fictional character in comics. There's not a word for how many people he's killed, like a quadrillion, a vignatillion, I don't know. And that is the first fact about the Anti-Monitor. Let's dive in. The Anti-Monitor debuted in Crisis on Infinite Earths 6 in 1985. The story was called 3 Earths, 3 Deaths. To understand who or what the Anti-Monitor is, I need to explain what a monitor is. This all kicked off back in the 1950s with the Flash. Not only can the Flash move super fast, he can also tap into different vibrations and frequencies. Once, he altered his frequency and vibrated into another parallel Earth, which had its own version of the Flash called Jay Garrick. When Flash told this to the heroes of Earth, they realized that there is many Earths all existing in the same place, but nobody can feel them because they all exist on a different vibrational frequency. Although this wasn't the first time a parallel Earth story was told in DC Comics, that honor belongs to Wonder Woman, this was the beginning of many parallel Earth stories in DC Comics. Now, what does this have to do with anything? Well, you see, the Monitors are a race that observe all the universes to ensure nothing from one dimension transports to another, as this will weaken the rift between realities. If this rift is damaged too often, it will tear open, which can collapse the entire multiverse. The Monitors call this rift between universes the Bleed. The Monitors reside on a space station in the Bleed. The Monitors debuted in New Teen Titans 21 in 1984. This story was called Beware the Wrath of Brother Blood. Usually there are 52 different universes in DC Comics. Each of them has one Monitor. Originally, if a Monitor found a person in the wrong universe, the Monitor would transport them back. As the Monitors worried more and more that the multiverse would collapse, they started to use lethal force against those who found themselves in the wrong universe. The Monitors are one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. They have the power of dimension alteration, interdimensional teleportation, flight, matter manipulation, cosmic awareness, immortality, psionics, and super strength. When they need to investigate a rift between universes, they send an agent called the Forerunner. Although the Monitors try to stop people from going to different universes, they're just delaying the inevitable. Every time this happens, they weaken the barriers of reality. The barriers cannot get stronger, they are only getting weaker. Even if they send someone back to their old dimension, it's too late. They pass through, the rift is weakened. Eventually, it will collapse. It might happen in a day, it might happen in a year, it might happen in a million years. But eventually, the multiverse will die. But the Anti-Monitor had an alternative solution for all of this. The only way to guarantee the existence of the multiverse was to destroy every universe except one. That way, there is no universe to go to, which means the rift cannot be weakened. To ensure this happens, the Anti-Monitor has destroyed many universes. Now, a guy who can destroy a universe, that sounds pretty hard to beat in a fight, doesn't it? But it gets worse. Every time he destroys a universe, the Anti-Monitor absorbs the energy of that universe. So, Superman, I know you're really strong, but you're fighting a guy who has the power of like 50 universes. That should give you an idea of just how stupidly powerful the Anti-Monitor is. He is nicknamed the Guardian of Fear. The Anti-Monitor can alter reality, absorb energy, project energy, and augment other beings' powers. The Anti-Monitor is the most powerful being in DC Comics. So what makes him so powerful? He can create antimatter. Antimatter is a real thing, by the way. You probably learned in science, energy cannot be created or destroyed, only change its form, with one exception: antimatter. Antimatter is made of the opposite particles of matter. If antimatter connects with matter, it will be destroyed. It will no longer exist in our universe. Since the Anti-Monitor can harness antimatter, it can damage a universe until it collapses into itself. Also, you can't really punch or kick him because the Anti-Monitor doesn't have a physical form. He's just a churning mass of energy. To allow him to physically interact with the universe, he wears a gigantic armor called the Life Shell. During the battle with the Anti-Monitor in Crisis on Infinite Earths, there were many casualties, including Supergirl and the Flash, Barry Allen. Obviously, the Anti-Monitor was eventually defeated. And he stayed dead in the comics for 21 years, which is actually really long by comic standards. DC made a huge deal when they killed off Superman, but he was back to life within a year. Over 2 decades is almost unheard of. And his return could not have been better, because he returned and allied with Green Lantern's nemesis, Sinestro, in Sinestro Corps War, which is one of the greatest DC comic stories ever. And it is my favorite DC story of all time. It even has its own Wikipedia page. So if you read Crisis on Infinite Earths and you want more stories with Anti-Monitor, then absolutely check it out. When DC Comics rebooted in 2012, the Anti-Monitor was given a backstory. His real name is Mobius. Eons ago, Mobius desperately wished to learn the secrets of the universe and so built a device that could answer any question. This construct was called the Mobius chair. Mobius stumbled upon forbidden knowledge known as the anti-life equation, an equation that would allow the bearer to control and destroy all forms of life. This energy bonded with Mobius and turned him into the Anti-Monitor, a being of unequal destruction. After he turned into the Anti-Monitor, he abandoned the Mobius chair. The new god, Metron, became the owner of the Mobius chair. Metron has spent millennia traveling the cosmos trying to learn all its secrets. Also, let me know if you want me to do a video about Metron. And finally, in 2013, IGN's top 100 comic book villains of all time ranked the Anti-Monitor at number 48, which is pretty low considering he's killed more than any other comic book character ever. I mean, Shredder's ranked at number 39, and he can't even beat a bunch of Ninja Turtles.
But I don't want to conquer this place. I want to conquer Earth.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Please let me know if there's any other DC supervillains you want me to do a video about, and I'll upload it as soon as possible.